Hi, I'm Carter. Today we're going to be doing some interior goodies, including putting the headliner back in. So if you haven't seen us putting the headliner replacement on, there'll be a video for it. There'll be an iCard probably for it. And otherwise, yeah, we're going to be putting the headliner in, as well as removing the seats for the sake of cleaning it, and also replacing the center console, steering wheel, and shift boot. So let's do it. So first off, we have the battery disconnected here. Ignore all this extra stuff. That'll be for a later video. So for the seats, there are 4 bolts that hold down in each corner, and each of them are covered by these little plastic bits which literally just fly off. So if you pull back the little rubber thing there, these just come right off. Keep these in a safe spot. So once these 4 14mm base bolts come out, same applies for the seat belt here, attaches to the side. You just lift it out. Now you need to just disconnect all the necessary connections there. There's 2 white clips and 2 yellow clips for the airbag. So for removing the steering wheel, obviously have the battery off and keep it off for a few minutes to keep the airbag from going off. There's a set of screws in there. Then the airbag just pulls out straight with a few cables connecting it. So you remove the little horn switch here. There you go. That just disconnects like that. And then you can see there as well the switch for the airbags. So once the cables come out, we have a little marking there to just for us to indicate where the center line is. And we have a special tool that we have here as well. So steering wheel pops off, either using the tool or if you just use your force correctly. We have this just taped up for the sake of keeping it center. And now while everything is out, we're gonna get the headliner back in. Okay, so as for the headliner, we kind of finagled it in the side door here, and it required some bending, but I mean, as you can see, there's that pretty major crease there, and then some slight little indentations from fingers, but otherwise not too bad. It basically, when everything is off, when this trim's off, there's a screw in there, takes out the screw, this is off, all this side stuff's off. Kind of locks in at the top there, pushes forward on the sunroof, and then you just keep working it around that gray trim there. Get the airbag section back on. There's like a little metal clip, and then just keep filling it back in, I guess. So, all right, and then we're gonna get going on the steering wheel here. So this just goes straight on, nice and centered. There's gears in there, fits right on. And then the center bolt gets tied to 29 pound-feet. And now we just put the airbag back on. As well as these extra connectors here. Clicks in like that. And then for the horn, we use this down here. It's just links up like that. It's a little awkward with one hand, but boom. Yep. And then there you go. It should be lined up here. I got her there. Nice. Should link right in. There you go. And now this is good to.
Let me just stick this into the clip. Retention clip is right there. Feet, pull it back just a little bit. Let me just check everything. All the connections are in. Airbag, horn, blue clip.
In, horn, airbag. Yep.
It's a T30.
These are supposed to get torqued, but I don't know how much we actually care. Just hand tight. So for the rear reading lights, there's a set of 2 screws here. We currently have them up here just for the sake of holding them there, so I'll be removing these. Just uses the typical Phillips head. And then right here you can see is the actual switch. It'll go in like that. And you can see here the screw holes for that. So obviously orient it correctly so the on-off switch is facing upwards, and also the connection goes in these pins. Should just click right in there. Goes just like that, clips right into place. Boom. Our screw. And then we just need the cap right here. The wipe off. It just simply clicks right in. That. Boom, boom. Perfect. Right on. As for the side handles, they're symmetrical. They have these metal clips, and they just, in this case, from the headliner, we have them perfectly set that they just go straight through those holes. And then finally for the handles, there are these little covers. They have these really thick connections, so if you're getting them off, make sure they have good pressure on the sides of them, and they just come like that. Make sure it lines up, of course, with the actual molding. It goes under the metal clip there. Boom. So that's how you do the handles. Similar to the rear reading lights, the front reading lights and sunroof control has 2 connections, hangs from there. White connection plugs into there, and the green plugs through there, behind that black thing right here. And then it attaches with 2 screws. All you got to do for the final part, once it's all screwed in, everything's plugged in, these little bits, they got hooks on them, and these just clip right back in. Well, assuming my aim is better. Boom, boom. And you can see it clicks. Boom, boom. And basically to remove it, all you'd have to do is push it in, and then you can use a trim tool to peel back. So here I have a replacement center console that originally I was going to replace the entire thing with, but I realized that you can actually just replace the armrest section here, which is what I was aiming for, because the one currently in the car doesn't properly come up all the way, and it was a plastic piece, it's broken. So we can actually just get to this rear part by prying off this sort of back plastic section. So you can see this back plate just pried right off. There's some clips in there. Get a pry tool right in between here, pops off. And we're going for, there's a little pin. It's hard to see here, but right about where my thumb is, there's a pin here that's held in place that acts as the hinge for the center armrest. So here we have the better in shape armrest, and now we're good to line it up with this, and the pin just goes again through those holes there, lines right up through the springs, so it's pretty straightforward. Hey, so Editing Carter here. This thing was anything but straightforward, because the pin did not go straight through as cleanly as you'd think. It needed to go into the first hole, through because it's a set of 2 springs on the armrest, through the first spring, out of the first spring, into the second spring, out of the second spring, and out of the final hole. And making sure that that's all aligned was really difficult. We ended up having to use the original pin actually to sort of guide it through, and it was just awful. So it was anything but straightforward. We couldn't record any of it because it was such a pain. Yeah. So now everything's good to go back in. All of the trim pieces and interior bits are good, and the seats are good to go back in. It's just those 4 plugs under the seat, as well as these 4 screws. And so otherwise, everything interior-wise is good.